Things have changed since the last Apocalypse Joust. More survivors have made their way to safety under the bridge. But it's a more dangerous and unpredictable world. Natural disasters can strike at any time. It's still survive or be destroyed. Welcome to the Apocalypse Joust.
The sandstorm is finally settling. It's time to run another Apocalypse Junkyard Joust. This is Qualifier 6. Here are the 5 teams that have roared into the junkyard. Looks like some English people survived the apocalypse. It's the British apocalypse. Some unusual entries here. The Masters of Disaster. This team looks like it can handle anything that comes its way. Repent or face retribution. It is Divine Intervention. This team looks tough. Jester's Rogue Gallery. This team looks ready to rumble. And Zone 0. This team comes fully equipped for a fight. And now let's get to jousting before the weather turns. AJ the Ender is up, sponsored by Sauce Automotive Sachet and Buffet. For Masters of Disaster, this thing has a nice looking ramp at the back, and that is certainly going to come into play. The long arms did not deploy, it appears. Up first for Jester's Rogue Gallery, Code Blue, sponsored by Mark the Music Lover. Code Blue takes that ramp like a champ, smashes into the wall, flips around, and lands on top of the track buffer. Not an issue there. Good recovery. Zone 0 sending down the T800, sponsored by Hendrico's Heavy Hauling. Comparatively a light car at 48 grams compared to a lot of the rest of the field. This thing skids along on the edge of the track and lands it. No eliminations yet in the round. First up for the British Apocalypse, McClam, sponsored by Judy Collins. The long arm on the back of this car seems to help it stabilize, and it kind of flops down in the safety area. A nice landing there, and it will survive for now. There's no way to avoid danger in the apocalypse. We've got a rock slide alert, sponsored by Tribble's Troublemakers, this rock slide. Rocks all over the track. Will it affect the next vehicles coming down? That's a pretty big pile right there. Let's see how Divine Intervention handles it. Cathedral, sponsored by Reaper EOD. Cathedral hits those rocks, decimates them, throws them everywhere, all over the track, into the wall, takes it in stride, and just drives over the entirety of AJ the Ender, and then parks on top of him. The Enliserator for Masters of Disaster, sponsored by Starcorps Industries. The Enliserator flips off the track and will be the first casualty. It is upside down, and upside down or sideways means out. It bounces off the back end of Cathedral, hits a 6, slams into the wall just slightly, and then cannot find a place to park. Buckle Up coming down now, sponsored by King Jester, appropriately enough. Buckle Up hits that ramp, hits the wall, flips over, looks like it might be in trouble, but then it rolls back over again to a recovery. King Jester is safe. Zombie Hunter 3.0, sponsored by Beak's Busted Barn Finds for Zone 0. Zombie Hunter with all those spikes, it hits the wall, slams into it, flips over, gets stuck in the growing pile, and as of right now, looks like it is done. Not gonna get a chance to fight any zombies. Tiny Trap, sponsored by Scrapyard's Used Body Parts and Service. Tiny Trap just kind of drives up on that ramp and parks. Not a safe spot to be in at all. Heretic, 47 grams. This thing is tiny. How does it weigh that much? Sponsored by Test Joust Series. Heretic slams Tiny Trap off of the ramp, and it doesn't end well for Heretic. Tiny Trap looks like it may have survived that hit, but the tick is over and done. Dino 101, sponsored by the Mad Brit King. Dino 101 flips off that ramp, flips off of Cathedral, makes a fantastic loop around, hits a 7, and then makes a recovery. Doing a great job for the Masters. And it looks like Tiny Trap might be finished. Also looks like Enliserator might be back upright again. Purple Nurple for the Rogue Gallery, sponsored by Jesus. Purple Nurple slowed down there right at the end. Must have got caught on something on the way down, and it just kind of slides in behind that ramp. This could be good for preventing the ramp. Here comes Nightmare Fuel, sponsored by Stump's Tree Farm. Nightmare Fuel kind of parks as well, and now the line is backing up. We haven't seen much of this so far on the qualifiers. We'll see how it affects the situation. McDrag Reborn. You can be a sponsor of cars yourself. Check out the Junkyard Joust Patreon. McDrag Reborn hits the ramp and flops around a lot. Does not make a recovery. So close, but it can't pull it off. That'll be a loss for the British Apocalypse. Rapture for the intervention, sponsored by K&E Stewart Agri-Services. Rapture full of holy water, a very heavy vehicle. It gets a nice arcing jump, smashes into the wall, and makes a beautiful recovery, backing into the height tower. Here comes something that looks designed to stop ramps. Fat Man, sponsored by Chorgoth the Infinite Horror. And roast that ramp it does, getting right underneath, throwing the vehicle over upside down and out. And the trailer on the back of Purple Nurple is getting flopped around, but it is protecting the vehicle up front so far, although it's going off that ramp now. Backseat Boogie, gotta be careful here, sponsored by Tim the Bear Neal. Backseat Boogie pushes everything forward. Fat Man tilts over, and Purple Nurple is starting to go off that ramp. We'll see if that ramp protects Backseat Boogie's rear. Night Stalker, sponsored by William Aronson of the Joust Network. Night Stalker not able to penetrate Backseat Boogie, and it will be stuck right there, locked in. And for the moment, the line is tight. Throw the book at you. A VW van with a giant book on top, sponsored by Sanddragon Workshop. British Apocalypse hoping that that giant book keeps their vehicle alive and balanced and unflippable. We'll see what happens. Angelic Hammer, sponsored by Avery's Reliable Autos. Angelic Hammer breaks things up. The line is demolished. Throw the book at you goes over. Is it beyond 45? Purple Nurple goes over. It is definitely done. Night Stalker and Backseat Boogie survive the hit. The BFG, sponsored by Chris and Kat's Casa de Chaos for Masters of Disaster. BFG slams into the line, wheels a spinning. Doesn't look like it did any damage there. Everybody just kind of piling up a little bit. Death by Transit, sponsored by Shadow Wolf. 177 grams, and it plows into BFG, throws it off the track, but look at what it did in the meantime. Gives an assist to Zone 0 by throwing Nightmare Fuel back upright again. Looks like the guards over at the Thunderdome have something to read as they hang out, wait for the next fight. Grimazine, sponsored by Moo Cow Horse Farm. Grimazine bops Transit up a little bit, but Transit handles it for now. No damage on that hit. Here's an unusual entry, Dirt Bike. 38 grams, sponsored by Sicken. That giant steamroller wheel on the front of Dirt Bike breaks off a chunk, one of the spikes on Grimazine, and then it just parks on the back. Not for long though, I suspect. It's gonna take a hit from Retribution, sponsored by Emo Dingo. Retribution heaves into Dirt Bike. It bounces off of the book, flips over sideways, and is finished. We are backing up the hill just a little bit here too. Another spike broken too, it looks like. But it won't matter because that was the final car of round 1. A solid line of disaster here. 7 eliminations, and we're gonna take 2 measurements. Tiny Trap just a bit beyond 45, it will be eliminated. And throw the book at you. Ooh, 46 degrees. The book not quite enough to keep it from going over. That'll be 9 eliminations, most of them on the British Apocalypse. They are down to just 1 car with 4 losses. Masters of Disaster lost 2, and all 3 other teams lost 1. This match is just warming up. Here we go, round 2. Divine Intervention had a good round. Cathedral will start us off and line up down at the end of the track. Followed up by a punch from Backseat Boogie, and Backseat Boogie cannot remove it from the track. Same deal for T800 from Zone 0, and we got a big one coming down now. AJ the Ender shovels T800 off the track. T800 bouncing and making it happen for Zone 0. Backseat Boogie, though, is in trouble here. McClam slices off to the right, and no luck recovering this time with that spring and that long pole. That might be it for British Apocalypse. Rapture handles that leap like a pro, launching into the safety area and making the recovery happen, showing some good balance. Code blue for Rogue Gallery. Oh, look at that recovery. I thought it was out. It bounced off the wall. It went over. It seemed like it was doomed. And then at the last second manages to right itself. Wow, what a recovery. Nightmare Fuel gets into position, manages to probably prevent that ramp from happening. One of those arms has swung out and deployed finally. And Backseat Boogie's going over. After that close call last round, Inlizerator is in trouble again, upside down. Let's see if she can pull out a recovery this time. Angelic Hammer hits the ramp, flips over upside down, and flops there permanently. And did it actually just save the British Apocalypse? It looks like that is exactly what happened. An angel indeed. Uh-oh, we've got another calamity on the way. This time it was a bit of wind that came through and threw something out on the track. Oh, it's the old sign that we used to have. I was wondering what happened to that thing. Well, the wind found it and threw it onto the track, and it will be an obstacle now. Buckle Up takes the sign out with no problem and then makes a recovery after flipping over completely and landing over by the newly recovered McClam. It's a nice sign. I'm glad it didn't get damaged. Night Stalker sneaks underneath its teammate's ramp, probably designed to do just this. Hopefully there won't be any collateral damage when it takes a hit from Dino 101. Nope, it worked out pretty good. Just slips underneath a little bit, and we're backing up the track. Retribution with a heavy hit, but nobody goes over. A lot is happening here, but everybody's staying safe for the moment. Little damage there, though. I saw a gun break off. Death by Transit devastates the line. Utterly devastating hit right there. Double elimination. Could it have even been a triple takedown? No, the bus recovers. Retribution stays alive, but Dino and Nightmare Fuel are done. Grimazine, final car of the round. Grimazine punches into position. Look at this. Retribution is finished off now. Turned over just enough to get eliminated. And it flops into Backseat Boogie, who was already turned over. 7 more eliminations to add to already quite a few. That will take us up to 16 cars eliminated. Amazingly, no teams have been eliminated yet. Let's take a look at the aftermath. Jester's Rogue Gallery falls from 4 to 3. They are currently in the lead. Divine Intervention and Zone Zero lost 2. They are both down to 2. British Apocalypse stayed alive at 1, and Masters of Disasters fell 2 to just 1. The Rogue Gallery are out in front right now, starting off with Buckle Up, and it slots into place nicely down at the front. A hard hit by Cathedral, a little too hard. Cathedral slides onto the sides of the track and is vulnerable, highly vulnerable. T800 takes advantage of it, and Cathedral is toppled, thrown over, and goes sideways and out. Divine Intervention are down to 1. AJ the Ender takes a shot again at T800, cannot take it out. It looks close to 45, but I think that's below. One of those arms swings out again this time. And the wind is picking up a lot now, and it's actually forcing AJ the Ender's vehicle around. Could be a developing funnel cloud, a whirlwind, who knows, but whatever just happened. AJ the Ender's ramp now on the other side. McCram hits the brushes on the front of AJ the Ender. It looks like it's going to be okay, but then the rod snaps in half and it flips over. I think it needed that rod to recover. It's toast, and I think British Apocalypse are finished. Code Blue hits those brushes, goes up on top of AJ the Ender just a bit. Those things almost work like a ramp. They certainly are dangerous. Rapture strikes, and Code Blue goes into the wall in a very odd position, and there's no way to recover from it. It's going to need help. Also, bad news for Divine Intervention. Rapture needs to get back upright, or they're done. 2 cars left in the round. Grimazine is one of them, and it looks like Divine Intervention missed their chance right there. I think they might be finished. That's 2 teams gone in this round so far. A big hit from Death by Transit, and it does shake things up a little bit. Whoa, I don't know what's going on with AJ the Ender there. That ramp is bending upwards. Code Blue struggled against the wall, trying to get back upright, but couldn't do it. 4 eliminations in the round. Taking a look at the aftermath. British Apocalypse and Divine Intervention have fallen. We are down to 3 teams. Rogue Gallery falls from 3 to 2 and are tied with Zone 0. It's heating up now. One more team gets eliminated and this will be over. Rogue Gallery starting us off with Death by Transit. Rogue Gallery sending Death by Transit down to avoid the ramp that will inevitably be on the track. And wow, ends kind of strange, bouncing over the safety rail. Halfway into the safety area, it's looking a little wobbly, but it withstands a punch from T800. And now AJ the Ender coming down. No damage on that hit. T800 hops out of the way, and Transit retains balance. Buckle Up Ramps gets stuck on the top of Death by Transit, but then falls off and is pointed straight up at the sky. It's going to be under 90 degrees on the vertical axis, and that's going to be in if it stays that way. Grimazine with a nice little slot in right there. Does not go off the ramp. Starts to peel off the top of the ramp, actually. I don't know if that's paint or some sort of protective covering. There's not only natural disasters to contend with in the apocalypse, there's also the whims of Baby Humongous Cookie. Cookie has decided to send down the Glamazons bus from last Apocalypse Joust. Here it comes. Ooh, it looks like the bus has met its match. Grimazine rebuffs the attack completely. The bus almost breaks in half and flips over. And that is gonna end this round. No eliminations. We are going to increase the speed that the vehicles come down the track. This time we'll start off with T800 for Zone 0. Sliding in down at the end. And we've got another random event. This time it's Winnebago Rampage. Winnebago gets in a mood now and then and likes to take it out on whoever is around. Looks like it's going to be T800. Boom! T800 goes flying into the wall from that big hit and does a great job surviving, though it looks like that car now is starting to split apart just a little bit, maybe even losing some bits. Death by Transit looks kind of similar to Winnebago and smashes Winnebago over. No mercy, showing Winnebago who is boss. But then boom, AJ the Ender knocks Death by Transit off the track, sets up that ramp at the same time. What a devastating hit. Rogue Gallery will be down to just 1. Grimazine slots in, somehow Winnebago up front recovered. And Buckle Up will smash in behind, nice and safe. AJ almost got flipped up there. That'll do it for Death by Transit. And Jester's Rogue Gallery falls to 1. Zone 0 takes the lead now as we head into round 6. Whichever team gets 3rd place in this match, they're still going to have a decent shot at the wild card if they have enough points. Buckle Up attempts a takedown on T800. It is savvy to the takedown and manages to come back again, righting itself. Then AJ the Ender slams into position, setting up that ramp, pushing Buckle Up into the safety area, and we know Grimazine will not be affected by that ramp. However, before Grimazine comes down, we have another dangerous event occurring on the track. It is a zombie invasion, sponsored by PriceX Private Parts. The zombies attack AJ the Ender, and then are exploded by Grimazine, flying all over the place, some of them dancing around on their heads. A little breakdancing action there. And that'll take us to the end of this round. We are now gonna go to maximum speeds. Round 7, here we go. T800 a little slow off the draw. That car has been coming apart, and now it seems to be taking a toll on it. Buckle Up tries to capitalize, but can't get T800 off the track. It looks like it is losing that weapon on the side, and it gets pushed up a little bit. Yeah, that car is coming apart. I'm not sure it's long for this world, but it's got to make it through the end of this match at least. And now, just to cause more trouble, Baby Humongous Cookie is doing another of her whims. Looks like she's got a gas barrel and she's gonna weld it onto the back of Buckle Up. I have no idea if this will cause anything to happen, but it certainly is chaotic. AJ the Ender coming down now. Slamming into both of the cars, throwing them off the track bodily, and look at that recovery. A damaged A800 still manages to flip over and stay alive, as does Buckle Up. Here comes Grimazine. Grimazine with a leisurely slam peels off some more of that ramp. And T800 certainly looks worse for wear, but will survive the round. It's time to take the track buffer off. Maximum speeds, no track buffer, no holds barred. Maximum speeds get T800 all the way down to the end of the track. It's still splitting apart, but it's holding it together. But not anymore. AJ the Ender has ended the T800. It splits apart, goes over sideways. It's done. Wow, what an effort by that vehicle. Zone Zero lucky enough to be able to afford that loss for now. Oh, I hear a rumbling. It is time for another earthquake. Sponsored by Farty Marty. It might just be a couple of aftershocks from an earthquake we had earlier. Not too bad there, doesn't do any damage. And here comes Buckle Up, going off the ramp, going into the wall, flipping over upside down. Looks like it's gonna recover. It gets stuck. The track gets in the way. Tragic news for Jester's Row Gallery. That car has to get out of that position and get back upright again, or this match is over. Grimazine plows into the ramp, pushes it straight up. Does not take kindly to AJ the Ender, and it doesn't look like Buckle Up will be recovering. It looks like 8 rounds is gonna do it. Only 2 vehicles standing, and 2 eliminations in that round. Let's take a look at the aftermath. Jester's Row Gallery gets eliminated. Zone Zero falls to 1. Masters of Disaster hung on. Taking a look at the points. Jester's Row Gallery got 42 in their 3rd place slot. We'll see if that's enough to give them a shot at the wild card. Masters of Disaster and Zone Zero will be victorious and go on to the main event. We've got 12 qualified teams so far. 3 more qualifying matches to go before we find out the final lineup. There's your wild card standings. Right now, Jester's Row Gallery looks good, beating out the Time Bandits by 3 points. Jester and Smiler's Institution and the Row Gallery have a shot at making the main event. And it looks like our window is closed. The sand is coming back. Become a part of the Junkyard Joust community and support the Joust. Patreon.com/Junkyard Joust. Thank you to all my patrons. I could definitely use a few more. If you're able to pitch in and help me make this show, you know I'd appreciate it. See you next time, everybody.